Ta-da! Welcome to Deep in Love Talk Show tonight. We have two actors and actresses, Macleish Day and Whitney Anderson. They are actually here with us in LA, which is unusual. We don't often get our guest speakers here, so we are all tuning in from the awesome California. We are here to talk about a new feature coming out. So I'm very excited. They seem to be awesome. I'm going to turn the screen over to you guys, so if you both just want to introduce yourselves and tell us a little bit about you, where you're from, kind of hobbies, that kind of stuff.
Sounds cool. Okay. Ladies first.
Oh, sure. Hi, I'm Whitney Anderson. It's kind of hard to see full screen. There I am. Okay. I'm an actress. I'm going to be in the next production that he's doing called Call Me Jane, and we're hoping to bring some awareness to suicide prevention and to some of the issues that go along with alcoholism and depression, things of that nature, and through this film, and a way for people to understand that there's always someone that you can reach out to, and it's best to do so when people hit times in their life when they aren't quite able to see the better parts of themselves, the better parts of life. You sometimes need someone to talk to, and that's what we're hoping to do with this film. And so, yeah. And as far as me, I'm from Minnesota originally, and then now living in Los Angeles after my family moved to Manhattan Beach. And of course, I love acting, as I'm an actor, and I love dancing and good food and good music and all that kind of stuff. So
she put it so eloquently. It's like, how do you follow up?
You.
It's cray. It's cray. I'm Macleish Day. I'm an actor, casting director, and producer of the short film that's about to be released called Duet for Four, which is a romantic comedy which features Jamie Renee Smith from Dante's Peak, along with John Peterson, who's done a number of national tours and West End productions, and has actually worked with the recent James Bond director Sam Mendes a while ago. So we're really happy to have gotten him, along with Chris Praskis, who's done Days of Our Lives and Friends with Benefits, and Britton Green, who had done a couple of short films with me and had done Blair Witch Project 2 and the likes of The Perfect Boyfriend on Lifetime TV. So we had a really great cast and a really great crew. We shot it on the red camera, and I just produced it and thought, hey, let's get it out there, spread the love, and just really happy that having a lovely little work come to life and all that. So also just helped with the casting for Call Me Jane, and part of why we wanted Whitney for the project is because she just embodies exactly what the short story of Call Me Jane is really about, and sort of bringing that awareness to it. So hopefully when we talk to suicide prevention hotlines and the suicide advocacy programs, to be able to spread that kind of awareness both with love as well as with some of these other places for nonprofit organizations like suicide prevention. We're just hoping to bring awareness, and by doing it through film, we're able to passionately go about our dreams. So.
Yeah, if we can, have even, if a small amount of people see this and be affected by it, or do something to move towards it, and helping what we're trying to do and helping this cause, or somebody that it touches and makes them reach out, then that's like really what we've set out to do.
Exactly. Yep.
Yeah.
Film is an amazing medium. You can say and portray so much through a video piece, a film piece. So that's beautiful.
Absolutely.
How long have you guys been acting?
I've been basically acting since I was a kid. I mean, my mom had their dance company. She created a dance company with her sister at the Boulder Performing Arts Center when I was about 2 years old, and literally have just been doing it ever since then. I mean, I was basically a child growing up in musical theater. I mean, they used to take me to dinner theater plays. Since I was a kid, they'd be telling me about Rodgers and Hammerstein, The King and I. Literally Man of La Mancha, Titanic the musical. I'm getting but the one thing that really inspired me was Singing in the Rain. Great musical. And
oh yeah, that's a classic. That's an all-time classic.
Yeah, and me as well. Back in Minnesota, my mom was a huge theater buff, so we went to the Chanhassen Dinner Theater. That's actually where Amy Adams also started out. Yeah,
she started in Colorado with our theater. theater too.
Oh, did she?
Yeah, she actually, odd coincidence, Amy Adams has a bizarre relationship with my younger sister. They used to be like co-stars together in the little short musical Will Rogers Follies. I'm not kidding about this. So I'm like,
she must have done the whole dinner theater route before she hit the big time.
she did. Apparently, was in Castle Rock, went to Minnesota or Michigan,
dinner theater,
and did dinner theater up there. And then after that, she just skyrocketed to like Oscar nominations every year.
And like you were saying, you know, I got into acting because you know you see a story, you think about a story that you hear when you're younger that affects you or that touches you so much. I think that's what you know inspired me to want to act. And so I've always watched great theater, and then I did theater in Minnesota, and I loved dancing. I was a huge dancer in Minnesota, and then once I moved out here, I just continued with the theater, and then finally got into TV and film and stuff like that.
She's great. You should definitely check out her work. So great. Yeah.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah.
That's really cool. You know, my hat is off to you guys. I have a lot of respect. I actually work at a film studio.
There's things going on behind us.
Please don't worry about it.
Things falling down.
It's like. I try to make this look as professional as possible.
It is all good. It is all good. What I was saying is I work in a film studio, so I actually work on the inside of the camera. I work in a post house.
Oh, wow.
So my hat is off to you guys. I actually have a lot of fun. We, short story, we were casting, we were doing auditions all day a few months ago. And as you guys know, there's probably, I don't know, 50 people that come in for one role.
Yeah. And they're all great, right?
Say that again?
And they're all great, you know? They're all
absolutely. And as you guys know, it always isn't about your skill. It's about your look. Sometimes the producer is looking for a very specific look and feel, and so you could be phenomenal, but you just don't have the ethnicity, the look, whatever it is that they're trying to capture. So you guys have to have very tough skin. You take no every single day, or at least a lot. So I was having a lot of fun one day. They were young teenagers, and we had to go through all the way through a long facility. And so I'd be like, "Hi, welcome to the studio. You guys ready? You got your scripts?" "Yes, yes." And so then they sit down, and then I'd be like, "All right, follow me." So they're coming. You know, everyone's nervous, and I would be like, "Ready to get your dreams dashed?" And just look at me like. Okay. Oh, I'm just kidding. Come on in. I'm just trying to get you loosened up.
My mom just visualized me getting this role. What are you talking about? I'm just kidding.
I have spent the last 3 months studying this, and I'm just like, you do realize that there's 50 other people. Don't take it so seriously.
Well, I think that's a better way to go into it. I mean, I think it's a better intention to have a long-term, you know, you love acting and you want a certain either, you know, career for yourself or something artistically that you want to pursue, but not to get so hung up on this job or that job or this job, like you were saying. You can't take it seriously. You have no idea what look or essence or whatever it is that they want. So I think that's actually a better way. You know, you did the people a favor by saying, you know, are you excited to dash your dream?
Right? They're just looking at me like, okay.
Yeah. I mean,
I mean,
and someone, though, right? Yep. So one person is going to be very happy.
Oddly enough, when we cast Duet for 4, we had about 1,000 people submit for 4 roles. So 1,000 submissions. I literally go through, and there are a lot of great, talented individuals that submitted on this project. But the problem is it literally does come down to a look in terms of what the director envisions for it and what he has in mind. And so when Cameron, our director, he's probably watching tonight. Hi, Cameron. Hello. Just thought you should say hi. Okay. He literally just yeah, I'll just let that go into your hands. Whatever you want to do, it's totally fine. Just give me good actors, and that's all I want. I look for theater, so I look for theater. If you got good
he loves theater.
He loves theater. The guy's a huge theater training buff, which is great. But it's also at the same time you literally think, all right. He wants theater training, but yet we need saleability, because sometimes the other catch-22 is if it's not the right look, then we also need someone that's saleable for a film. Because when you go to Amazon online for you're looking at movies, it's I want to know what movie I can buy tonight, for videos or what's streaming online, and you know, sometimes
There's a lot of factors.
There's a lot of factors that go into it. I mean, it's like the name saleability, and then the acting saleability.
Hence, you having a great thing to say before they walk in, which is, "Are you ready to dash your dreams?
Are we ready to have your dreams dashed? Find out now."
Right.
Yeah.
Too funny. You gotta take it. Can't take life so seriously, you know.
No.
I want to talk about Duet for Four.
Yes.
So, can you give us a brief synopsis of the story?
Yes, it deals with these two television writers named Chris and Terry. They go on this lovely journey called Cray Crayness. They basically are writing this scene for a comedy show called The Sydney Meta Show, which is along the lines of Jay Leno meeting Ed Sullivan, in a sense. And they are trying to find the words to say "I love you" to show that Sydney Meta has acting chops. So it's life imitating art, imitating life, is pretty much what I can say about that.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. Can you hear me? Did I go off the air? Okay. I just heard a ding.
That was actually, I said my cell phone, I believe, which was a nice little punctuation to the end of your story.
Really?
Yeah.
Good
That
God.
would be what it is.
O to the M to the G.
That's it.
Seriously.
You guys truly are actors.
We are, and this is why we love each other, because it's actors are cray like that. It's amazing. So.
I deal with a lot of them. I see you guys all the time.
Yeah.
I want to talk about your other films. So you guys are aware that I do suicide intervention work.
Yes.
That's wonderful. Yeah.
Yes, we do.
So when I was hearing about your film, I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. It's not that that's a cool topic, but it's cool that we can both be a voice for something that needs to have a voice to it in our own separate ways. So you can our own personal skills for a similar cause, to raise awareness around suicide.
Yes.
Right.
What was the name of the film?
Call Me Jane is the Call Me Jane. It's based on the short story. It was based on the short story that was written by Cooper Christian. He was a dear friend of mine that lived out in Colorado, and he wrote this story originally as titled Call Me John. And so we thought, why not do it through the viewpoint of a woman instead? Because in all honesty, we see a lot of films that deal with the male point of view, not as much as through a woman's point of view. And so when we decided to change it after 10 different revisions, it's like, let's do it through a woman. We found it to be a little bit more powerful that way. And hence, Call Me Jane was born, and we've been working on it for the last year and a half to 2 years now to get the script to where it's at right now. And here's our lovely star of the film here to talk with you.
Yeah. So what exactly do you do with suicide prevention? Is it a hotline, or is it?
I actually started off with the hotline, and I felt there was a huge gap of individuals not being reached. We have teenagers that have cell phones. They mostly use data. They're running off Wi-Fi. Very few of them actually have minutes, and when they do, their parents monitor their calls or they have a limited amount of minutes. And so when they would reach out to me and say, I need help, I would say, call the hotline. And then they'd be like, I don't have the minutes, or I don't want my parents to find out. And so I felt like they weren't getting the help that they needed. So I actually started a chat room. So I run a chat room where you can message in anytime, day or night, if you're feeling suicidal or depressed. I am intervention, so I'm the middleman. So my goal is to calm you down, safety now, and then connect you to someone who can help you, the therapist, the counselor, for long term.
Right. So you're the person that when it gets to that crisis time, to get them through that time to where they can come back to some sort of
normal
yeah.
Exactly. And how that started was I actually started.
Oh, sorry.
So I actually started my Instagram in this talk show, and so what happened was these individuals started reaching out to me for help because they got to see my personality and they felt like they kind of knew me. And I was like, I don't know how to help you, call the hotline. And so they would be like, well, we don't know the hotline. It's a stranger. We want to talk to you. And so that's when I stepped back and went and got my suicide training. Was going to work for the hotline and then saw that there was a need there. There are chat rooms out there that are very well done. I just felt that there was a lot of the chat rooms you have to create a username and fill out a profile, answer a lot of questions. And when you're in place of pain and you want help, the last thing you want to do is answer 20 questions. You want help right away.
Yeah.
Plus, the more questions that you answer, the less safe you feel. You start feeling like people know too much information about you.
Yeah.
And with teenagers who are very suicidal, one of the first questions they ask is, are you going to tell my parents on me?
Right. Like
as you ask more questions, they start not wanting to open up to you. So I created my chat room with one question, and that's your username. Create a name so I know what to refer to you as.
Right.
And then everything else I need to know, we'll build a relationship and ask those questions. But yeah, I also run a couple in-person support groups. So here in Los Angeles, I run a support group. I charge no fees. All ages welcome, both genders. Everyone is welcome to come in, sit in. We're here every single Tuesday, but it's just to help people feel safe, be able to talk about their feelings with others who feel the same way without being judged.
That's a huge thing that the film also brings up is because my character Jane actually runs out of money for therapy and for group therapy, because if you think about it now, therapy is so expensive and different group therapies, different therapies, and people still need it. So my character runs into a time period when she has ran out of money for both her medication that her insurance won't cover for her depression, and also she can't afford a group like you're talking about, which is wonderful that you provide a group that people can go to and give voice to feelings that they're having that they don't understand, and that they need someone to maybe shed some light to, or to talk through with somebody. It's so important, and some people just don't have the resources for it, i.e. money or people that they know or where to go. So that's what is great that you're doing, and hopefully we'll be able to somehow give voice and also give people a way to know more resources like yourself and other people that are like you that are providing that. That's really great. Yeah.
I love that you guys are doing a film on this too, because a lot of times when people hear the word suicide, we automatically go into like this freak mode. They're weird, or I don't know what to say. We kind of overreact, and that's not always a good thing, because that makes, for one, the person want to shut down, and then we also shut down as well.
Right.
So the more we can talk about it and see it on TV, the less of this big, scary, unknown thing that it becomes. So I love that you're writing a story.
Yeah, because it brings up people's own fear of death, and their own fear of someone close to them doing something that they're so out of control of,
Yeah.
But the thing that lies behind it is that most people just need someone that they can talk to when they have those thoughts that are going on. So.
I mean, It's just a relevant subject. I mean, especially with the recent passing of Robin Williams. I mean, he literally, the minute he went, it was just like a wake-up call. It was like you just lost one of these great, iconic, comedians, and it's, from suicide. The man was depressed, and so I'm literally thinking this is a great way to, really just bring it up. It is one of the biggest killers that we still deal with today, aside from cancer, AIDS, hunger, the whole 9 yards.
Yeah.
Does the movie hit close to you guys for any personal reasons?
I think it hits close to
Everybody.
I think it's the majority of our entire cast that we have on board.
Yeah.
In one way or another, all the actors that we brought in for
everyone.
The lead men, it just affects all of them. We had a guy come on in, and literally he could not get through the script because it was so poignantly impactful. It just hit close to home.
From his sister having experience like this, everyone that came in to read for this part, because we had a casting session too for the man that plays my boyfriend in this piece, and every single person that came in had some sort of personal story, and many of them had to sit down, had to take a minute, started talking about it. I feel like it hits home for more people than you'd guess, and not only that, but people do feel some sort of stigma around it, so they don't talk about it. And so in this kind of place where we were talking about this story, everyone felt safe to come out and share their family story, or a loved one, a best friend, this guy's sister, and it was really powerful because it was just so touching and hit all of us so deeply. So it was interesting. It happened in the casting session for this.
About 250 250 men, 250 men to like sort through, and cast one man that could, go and actually be on this journey to like really feel this impact with this lovely lady right here who is going on this downward spiral, just starts to unravel and all of it, and we just want to, give our interpretation of, this sort of illness and the current predicament that it.
And then also the repercussions that it has on the family and the other people involved. So
yeah,
it's kind of everything, the whole thing.
I actually read a statistic today that said for every one suicide there is a minimum of 6 people affected.
Absolutely.
All the way up into hundreds. But a minimum for one person that we don't even account for.
Absolutely, and the people that are left sometimes they're wondering what they could have done to help more, why they weren't there in those times of crisis that you are so wonderfully finding different ways of making yourself available to. Those times, those crisis times. And I think that's like the most important time. It's just, I guess you just do the best that you can do, which is what you're doing as with the best that I can do, and then you just have to be okay with that. So yeah.
I often get the question, what should we do if you feel someone is suicidal? And I always say, I've never once heard anyone say, I wish I didn't talk so much, or I wish I didn't ask them how they were. As an overboard, it's always, I wish I would have said something, I wish I would have listened, I wish I would have got them help. You never hear the opposite side, like, I should have stepped down, I should have not asked, I should have,
Right.
So those things.
There's a catch-22 in the script a little bit. I mean, with the boyfriend as well as with Jane, there is that he is trying to detach with love in a sense from Jane, dealing with sort of her illness, with dealing with the alcohol and the medication, as well as with sort of the the mentality of I don't care about life, let me just end it. But the point is that he's not only trying to, he does love her very, very much, but there is that, I have to detach with love one way or another, or it will affect, in a sense, the entire outcome of everyone else.
Exactly. What he's dealing with is the other side, which is a complex issue. The other side of it is somebody that's in a relationship that's somewhat codependent, where they can't save the person. So there's a time when certain, I think, loved ones come to a point where if someone's an addict or a manic depressant or whatever it is, but usually in this case of Jane, she was depressed, but also she was an addict, and he kept on helping her, but couldn't help her to the point where he had to sacrifice himself and get himself involved again. So he was trying to protect himself and also help her at the same time because he loved her. So it was this kind of push and pull that shows the relationship that actually happens when you love somebody so much. That this was more of the part of it that wasn't so much suicide, it was more of her addiction that she kept on indulging in, that he couldn't really save her from. And as long as she was doing that, because she shows up drunk and on drugs to his place, and at a point when someone loves someone so much but they can't help a person that won't get help for themselves through AA or through a variety of different variety of different ways of healing yourself and helping yourself through such a thing. You have to somewhat kind of help yourself to know, I love you, but I can't save you. So that's a different subject. That's kind of an addiction thing, because Jane has that her addiction or alcoholism and her drug abuse that leads to the depression as well. Yeah. So it's kind of two different things. Yeah. It's a complex story.
Very complex, but very meaningful in terms of the subject matter.
Whitney, how easy is it for you to step into that role? I mean, I'm sure you kind of have to. You seem like a very bubbly, happy person. So I mean, how do you?
It was almost something when they brought this to me. When they brought this to me and I read it, I was hesitant because I didn't want to go towards that darkness that I feel like I would have to embody to really do justice for this character. And then with the passing, it was the day after I read the script, Robin Williams passed, and it affected me so much. And I felt it was a responsibility then. I felt then like a sort of passion, kind of like you felt probably when you started your chat room and your group on Tuesdays, where I said, no, this is something that I am not going to turn away from out of fear, out of kind of not wanting to face my own pain that I would have to face to relate to this girl. But to instead, embody this and give voice to it and help out maybe somebody, hopefully, in some way, shape, or form. So that's what I decided through this whole thing. But it's not. I don't think it's easy. No, I don't at all. It's a dark kind of it's a dark place, and it's also
definitely a change from your romantic comedy days.
Right. I'm going in for a romantic comedy tomorrow morning. I'm like, it's not that.
It's not. Not like peaches and cream and all that stuff.
And that's okay, I mean, I think that it's interesting that way. It's something that I think I just feel a great amount of purpose with. So that's a good thing. I think it's the reason why I got into this to begin with. Is this kind of a role. So,
Macleish, are you in the film?
I just casted the film of Call Me Jane. So basically, I pick and mediate when it comes to actually casting the actors in the film. I basically, with Duet for Four as well, I basically was behind the scenes as the executive producer, which is basically the man who sort of taking charge with like the behind the scenes stuff, as well as casting the actors as well. So finding the people who are, going to portray the characters in the script that, are going to tell the story as truthfully and authentically to the director's vision as much as possible.
I love it. What are the long-term goals for this? What are the distribution goals?
For Duet for Four, we are looking right now at distribution with Amazon right now to do it online later once we finish our film festival run. Primarily, we're looking at the lesbian, gay, bisexual, transsexual markets for Duet for Four, since it's dealing with sort of a love story between Chris and Terry as television writers. So that's primarily with that particular film. With Call Me Jane, we're looking to release the film probably within this next year, near the end of the year. September, October is what we're looking at right now. Around the same time that the Suicide National Awareness Day is looking, which is probably, I think it's around the same time, like September 10th or 11th of next year. Yeah, it's the 10th.
It's September 10th?
Next year is what we're going to try to aim for Call Me Jane. So
that's a great
release date. Yeah, I mean, just a way to be like, and here's the film, and National Suicide Awareness Day. Oh, here's a film for you. Enjoy. So we want to try to bring it out there and, just bring awareness. That's basically what the film's about, bringing awareness.
That's great. That's a great deadline. It's a good idea.
Yeah.
Because people are already talking about it and wanting answers and wanting help and something to turn to, for sure.
I think it's a good reference point for people that are dealing with it, I mean, just to be like, I'm going through this right now. What do I do under these circumstances? What do you do? And so hopefully this, through this one man's experience and account, through the woman's point of view, I think we'll be able to hopefully have something that people can relate to.
And not feel alone.
And not feel like they're dealing with this battle alone. There is help out there. You can get help. We're here to help. So.
Yeah. And again, that seeing somebody's journey and that they're not alone, and that in the story also, her best friend and her ex seemingly aren't really there for her because of what we were talking about with the addiction, where they have to kind of somewhat protect herself and also give her some sort of tough love. But that I want people to be able to see that even with that there is
hope.
There's hope, and there's tons of other people. There's other resources, and it's not just, I mean, you can have a whole another life past that, and the whole reason why they are giving her tough love is because she needs to help herself as well. Kind of, So I hope that, So.
Absolutely. That's awesome. I'm going to ask you guys both a personal question, and that's just, do you have a favorite quote or a favorite mantra, a saying that either of you live by?
For me, it's never give up, trust your instincts. It was a quote by James McLeod. It was actually part of the McLeod family of mine, like through my father's side of the family. So always trusting your instincts and just to always be tenacious about if you're going to go after something, never give up on it. Don't quit. Just follow your guts, follow your instincts. You know where you need to go. So.
I love it. I love it. Thank you.
I don't have one. I have so many. I'm always constantly finding, new things to kind of that suit me for the moment. But I think for this particular piece of Call Me Jane, it would definitely be the because, like I said, her whole, the whole central force behind what leads to her suicide is the addiction issue. So I think it would be something in the AA program, which is God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the wisdom to change, the courage to change things that I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. I think that's something that Jane, I think that's something that is a great saying, and if you can really understand that and live by that, which is sometimes easier said than done, I think that is what I would. That's what I would advocate is like the quote for this piece, So yeah.
That's beautiful. I love it. I have a very large audience of young people. So as you guys seem to be well established or getting there, what type of advice would you give aspiring teenagers who want to be actors or actresses?
I'd say keep at it, follow your dreams, and if you believe that you can do it, and you should do it. So I would definitely go after whatever it is that you want to do. And don't let anyone tell you otherwise. Don't let anyone tell you that you can't do it, because at the end of the day, the only person that's holding yourself down is you. And as Eleanor Roosevelt said, no one can make you feel inferior without your consent. And so only you.
Another good quote.
Another great quote. Yeah.
I would have to agree with all that. And, especially something in the artistic world, like acting or singing or dancing, I think you have to absolutely just love, if it's art, I think you just have to love it and go after it and get involved in any way that you can. With, did you say that the younger people were towards the arts or in all scopes?
All scopes.
Yeah, then I would say definitely don't let anybody tell you that you can't, achieve what you want to achieve. And sometimes, you always are going to run into obstacles in your life. And let that fuel you, and let that motivate you to continue even further instead of letting it get you down. I would say to get active in any way that you can, whether it's music or making what you did. You got out and actively helped people out and formed a community.
If
you can form a community with people and make yourself accountable, I think that doing a play, if you're an actor, getting involved, if you're in music and having a band or doing whatever it is, but just do what you love to do, and that will end up being the best thing you can do, just doing what you love to do. And I think forming a community of that. So that's what I would say.
I love it. All right, the last silly question, and one of you brought this to me. How deep is your love?
It's this deep. It's this deep.
It is so deep. It's the deepest.
It's deep, darling. It is deep.
There's his
we need to get a show. We need a show tonight, guys.
You got a show from here.
He sings everything, so
I bet he does.
Yeah.
I do not doubt that.
True story.
True story.
Yes. And also, I have one more thing actually to add to that. Is also be kind to yourself. With people.
Absolutely.
Because you're never going to. I have to just say this because you're never going to be able to please your parents so much and your teachers and everything else. Especially when you're younger, you're looking for outside validation. And just be kind to yourself and your learning process and everything. And all that. I had to say that. My love is deep for all of you.
Yeah.
I am always saying that. Look how far we've come. Stop and give yourself a pat on the shoulder,
It's
You have to congratulate yourself. You have to be the person that's happy with the success that you take.
Oh, yeah.
The quote I'm going to share for tonight is a journey of 1,000 miles begins with one step. All it takes is one. You know, they say you can get all the way to the top of Mount Everest with baby steps, step at a time. You just got to start taking.
Good ones. Oh my gosh. You got the good ones.
Right? Baby steps. As long as you're in that direction, one step will get you to the top.
That's amazing. I love it. I'm going to use that. That's my one for the day, too.
There you go. That's our one little takeaway today from this little event, folks.
No, I've taken a lot today. Thank you so much. This is great.
You're welcome. Thank you, guys. It's been an absolute pleasure, and our time goes by so fast every single time.
Yeah, it's cry, girl. Cry.
When is the release date for Duet for 4?
Duet for 4 is releasing coming up in less than a week, October 3rd, 6 p.m. Red Carpet Gala with 7 p.m. screening time. So definitely come out. A lot of fun here in West Hollywood, Multimedia Theater, right across the street from the Grove. So not too far from here.
Nice. Where can I find out more information about it?
You can simply go to the lovely Facebook page that's on our link, or go to www.fatimeentertainment.com, and it will give you the entire list of the event itself. And
do you want to spell it, Fatimi?
Yes, I can spell out Fatimi. Yes, I'm a Fatime. Thank you. It's Fatemi entertainment.com. There you go.
There we have it, guys. Thank you both so much for being here. It's been an absolute pleasure.
It's so nice meeting you. Thank you.
Thank you. And may you both keep smiling and keep spreading love.
I will spread it, girl. We'll spread it.
Bye. Thank you.
Have a good night.
Bye-bye.
Bye.